Hello friends at home. In this video, I'm going to be doing today's math lesson with you. I was teaching this lesson to our friends here in the classroom, and halfway through the video, something went wrong with my computer. It glitched and the video stopped recording. So I'm going to start this lesson over for you. So if you notice some markings already on my pages, that's why. But it's a fairly easy lesson today, so I have no doubts that you'll do fine with it. So I am on page 461, 461. It is lesson 12.3, and this is the last lesson we'll be doing before we go on break. But don't worry, when you come back from break in 12 days, we will be reviewing all of this and making sure that it's still in your brain before we move forward. So this is just another strategy that I'm teaching you today for subtracting. Depending on the problem and what numbers are involved with it, this may or may not be the best option for solving that problem, but it's a method that I will teach you. Essentially what we're going to be doing is subtracting double digits, and on this page we'll be doing all subtracting of tens, so it'll keep it nice and easy for us. But what we're going to be doing is thinking back to our part whole addition, where when we're trying to subtract, instead of trying to count down and take away, if we figure out, we know one of our parts, count up and figure out that other part to get to our whole, we kind of work backwards. So we're adding in order to subtract. It can help us solve our problems. So for this first one here, Nate is reading a book and he wants to read 60 pages of that book. And he's already read 40 pages. So he wants to know how many pages he has left. So I'm going to grab my, excuse me, I have a tickle in my throat. I'm going to grab my dry erase marker here and go through this problem for you on the whiteboard. All right, so when we think about that problem here, in the book, all together in total, his whole amount of pages that he wants to read is 60 pages. So that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. All together, he wants to read 60. Now, if we think about the two parts, these would be our add-ins that we're using to get to 60. We know that he's already read 40. So one of those is 40, 10, 20, 30, 40. We're trying to solve for this missing number, this missing part, to say, okay, he already has 40, so how many does he need to get to 60? So looking here, we already have 10, 20, 30, 40. That shows us that we have 2 tens left, or 20. So 60 minus 40 equals 20, because 20 plus 40 equals 60. Think fact families, okay? So now, as I said, there's some markings on this page already because I had already done the page and then the computer stopped working, but that's okay. So if you look at, we'll go right to number 2 in your book because number 1 is kind of done for you. They have 80 minus 50. And we're trying to solve 80 minus, or 80 take away 50. And they say, what will that answer be? To solve that, it says figure out what number plus 50 would get you to 80. And then, because of our knowledge of fact families, that number will be this number here. So we draw out our part whole box, because whenever we're trying to figure out that missing addend, it's helpful to have the parts here. Okay. And then I know my total is 80. So that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. That's what I'm trying to get to here. And I know one of my parts is 50, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Now I just need to figure out that missing part. So if I connect here, there's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. These remaining tens are my other part, or my missing piece. So 10, 20, 30. If 30 plus 50 is 80, 30, 50, 80, then 80 minus 50 equals 30. All right, let's try the next one. And you can be writing this right in your book here. I'm not keeping it up on the screen because I already put the work on there. But let's take a look at number 3. It says 40 minus 10. And this one they've put vertically. Remember, with math, it doesn't matter which way we go. We can go forwards and backwards. Both are fine. So I've got 40 minus 10, and I'm trying to figure out this missing number here. And then they're saying, okay, what number plus 10 would get you to 40? So we're trying to figure out that missing piece. So if I draw out here our part whole box, I know that my whole is 40, 10, 20, 30, 40. And I know that one of my pieces or parts is 10, so there's my 10. Now, if I figure out, okay, I have 10, I still have 10, 20, 30 left. So 30 is my missing addend or my missing piece. So if 30 plus 10 is 40, then 40 minus 10 equals 30. So on your paper, you can write that one in as 30 is your missing number on both of those. Looking at number 4, it says 50 minus 40. So I have 50 take away 40 equals some number that we don't know. To get there, let's add. So if 50 minus 40 equals this number, then that number plus 40 should equal 50. So if we think about our part whole, two addends make a total or a sum. We know that our sum is 50, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. That's our whole. And we know that our first part is 40, 10, 20, 30, 40. So now we just have to figure out this missing part. So if I connect, there's 10, 20, 30, 40. I see that I have 110 left, so my missing number is 110 or 10. So if 10 plus 40 equals 50, then 50 minus 40 equals 10. All right, if you want to turn your page now and go to the top of 462, they have 60 minus 50, and this one they've written out horizontally. 60 minus 50 equals some number that we're not sure of yet. And it says to solve that, figure out what number plus 50 would get you to 60. So if I draw out my part whole box here, I know that my whole or my total is 60, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. And I know that one of my parts is 50, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So if I compare my parts to my whole, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, that leaves me with 1, 10, or 10. So if 10 plus 50 equals 60, then 60 minus 50 has to equal 10. And you can go ahead and write that one in at the top of your page. Looking at number 6, we have 90 minus 30. 90 minus 30 equals some number that we don't know. And it says to solve that, we can say that number plus 30 will get us to 90. So our sum or our whole is 90. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. One of our parts is 30, 10, 20, 30. So let's compare to solve for this missing part. I have 10, 20, 30. That means that these remaining 10s will be the other part. So that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. My missing part is 60. If 60 plus 30 equals 90, then 90 minus 30 equals 60. And you can write that in next to number 6 on your paper. Let's take a look at number 7. This one is written vertically instead of horizontally. We have 70 take away 10 equals a number we don't know. And then we're going to figure out what that number is, plus 10 would get us up to 70. So using our part whole addition, make my chart here. I know that my whole or my total is 70, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. And I know that my first part is 10. So when I compare that, here's 10. That means these remaining 10s are my other part. So there's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 remaining parts. So if 60 plus 10 equals 70, then 70 take away 10 equals 60. And you can write that one in for number 7. Looking at number 8, we have 80 take away 30. So 80 is our whole. Taking away one of our parts is 30. We're going to figure out whatever that part is plus 30 would give us 80. And again, the reason why this works is because of the knowledge we have about fact families. It's the same 3 numbers. We can write them 4 different ways. So 80 take away 30 equals some number. Let's set up our part whole addition box here. We know that our whole is 80. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. We know that our first part is 30, 10, 20, 30. That leaves us, if we connect here, 10, 20, 30, that leaves us with this part, which is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. If 50 plus 30 equals 80, then 80 minus 30 equals 50. You can write that one in for number 8. And now we'll do 9 together. Number 9 is 30 minus 20. We're trying to solve for this part. So if we take that part plus 20, we're working backwards now. That will give us 30, which is our whole. So here's my part whole addition box. I'll put in my whole, which is 30, 10, 20, 30. My first part is 20, 10, 20. If I compare, my first part is 20. That leaves me with one more 10. So 10 plus 20 equals 30. Therefore, 30 minus 20 has to equal 10. And you can write that one in here. Now, if we look at the problem solving there, it says Mrs. Jones has 70 paper clips in a cup. She spilled some on the floor and had 20 left. So how many did she spill? So we're looking at 70 minus 20. 70 were in the cup. Now she has 20, so we need to figure out this missing part. If we set up our part whole addition box, she had 70 in her cup, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Now she only has 10, 20. So what is this other part? Well, if we compare, there's our first 10, there's our second 10. That leaves us with 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. 70 minus 20 equals 50. And that works because 20 plus 50 equals 70. Okay, fantastic. So boys and girls, I think you have a good handle now on how to do this part whole addition. If you want to complete on 463, there are some problems there that you can do. And then on the back of 464, continue doing the same thing we were doing. If it helps you to draw out that box and do the tens, I strongly encourage that. So go ahead and work through those. And again, we will be reviewing these skills when we come back from break before we move on further in the chapter. Okay? Bye, friends at home.